Welcome to Tao of the Day. It is that time again. We are here on a Friday. I love Fridays because Fridays are just days. Like I don't do Tao on Saturdays and Sundays. Not that I enjoy that. I really get a yearning to do Tao of the Day on Saturdays and Sundays. But it's good to have those boundaries up. It's really good to always keep boundaries and keep your mind clear. I'm gonna take a sip of my kombucha. And yeah, so this is Tao of the Day. I'm your host, Martin John. I host the Recover Yourself podcast. I also do workshops. I have a workshop coming up on the 15th, which is this coming Tuesday. And I want to invite you guys to come on out. If you feel like you pacify anywhere in your life, if you feel like, like you are doing things like watching Netflix or scrolling through Instagram or even listening to too much wisdom, and you're just like, oh, I just got to get off this, but I can't. All that kind of stuff is the things that I talk about in my workshop to help you recover more of yourself, because you are more important than anything that you do, anything that you have, or anything that you because anything, you are the most important thing. I was just talking to these two entrepreneurs today. They just launched the Sober app on the App Store, and I've been concerned about their health and safety because they've been doing all-nighters and really proud of it. They've been really, really defining themselves by their all-nighters that they've been taking, and it's been like, uh-oh, like you're gonna lose some mental clarity real quick by doing that. And when you pat yourself on the back for things like that, when you pat yourself on the back for staying up all night and working all night and stuff, well, you're not taking care of yourself. And that's really what recovering yourself is all about, really taking care of yourself. And the way that I discovered and kind of developed the recover yourself work is partially, at least, through the Tao. The Tao showed me how to live a more reasonable life and how to be more present and how to give more to myself in order to give more to others. And that's why I'm able to come up here and talk to you guys so deeply about the Tao and what it means for you or what it means for me, and what is present in this moment. So if you have a number between 1 and 81 you'd like to share with me, I'd love to invite you up to give me that number. And so the Tao Te Ching is at the core of what the Tao of the Day is. And if you're not familiar, it's an ancient text written about 600 BC. It was around the same time that we understand that they were writing the parts of the Old Testament of the Bible. So that's a the Bible is something that most of us here in the English speaking world, and not that we're all English speaking, but in the first world, and I believe this is in England and the United States. It may be in other countries as well, but those are the people that I have associated with. Ariel's going to join me, and yeah. So let's see what we discover today. Ariel,
Hi, good morning.
good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing splendid.
That's
I love your
splendid to
energy.
hear.
Love your energy.
Oh, thank you. I've heard you a couple of times on here, and today's a really special day. And so I wanted to pick a number, in honor of like what's going on, and we can get into that more. But can we go with the number 9 today?
We can. We can go with any number as long as it's not higher than 81.
Okay.
So yes, we are going to go with 9, and it's interesting. This is a beautiful one, and I think this is going to relate to a lot of things that you're gonna be engaged with today. So I'm going to read it, and then we'll get your initial thoughts, maybe how it relates to things that are going on in your life, and then we'll go through it line by line.
I love it.
Okay, so fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife and it will blunt. Chase after money and security and your heart will never unclench. Care about people's approval and you will be their prisoner.
Mm.
Do your work, then step back. The only way to serenity.
Mm. That's beautiful.
So, how does that relate to what's going on with you, Ariel?
So I'm also, I've heard you talk about in recovery. I am also a woman in recovery.
Go
Um,
on. Well, I'm not a woman, but I could have
well,
been, I suppose. I don't identify as one.
well, I myself am a woman in recovery.
Oh, well,
Um,
congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. I'm coming up
And
on
and
seven
and I want to,
months.
like, this is the first time we've talked, so I just want to
Yes,
kind of just like, yes, you're awesome. Let's yes.
yes. Um, so that really resonates because you go through life and it's like, am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? Am I not doing enough? Is this like, all these ebbs and flows of life? But it's like when you just do things like silently, like a silent
Quietly go about your business.
and then just watch the beauty happen when you don't force things and you allow nature to just run its course. All is well. Today, I have the gift to be able to watch beauty around me just unfold itself. Celebrations of life. One of my very near and dear friends celebrates 1 year of her recovery, and to be able to be a part and watch that journey, watch other journeys while I'm on my own journey is just remarkable. Um, yeah.
I can feel that. That's beautiful. And like that brings up so much of this number 9 that you picked. Like, do your work, then step back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like they're on their journey. You can't do their journey for them.
No.
But when you can do your work, you're inspiring others, and you're doing all of the work without having to make sure all of the work is done because it is your work.
Correct.
How beautiful. I never doubt the Tao, and like, just what when you pick a number, it's just so in line.
It is always
Always.
synchronicities are when you plug yourself into the universe, it's just the rest just follows. Everything just the synchronicities all line up when you're open to receiving the love that the universe has to offer.
Well, it's interesting. Even if you're not open to receiving it, it's coming. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, like, and that's the thing. It's like it's always around you, and all you have to do is pick it up. Like
Mhm.
for those of us in recovery, we focus initially on like giving to others, giving back, giving back. But then, we eventually get to a place where we realize that we have to give it to ourselves so that
Mhm.
we can receive the love from others. Because that's often the thing. It's not that we didn't love or do for others, it's that we didn't love or do for ourselves. and
Mhm.
and that and that break comes because we're unable to receive love from others because we don't know how.
Right.
And
Right,
so,
and it's all a learning process of how to learn to love yourself again.
yeah, how to learn to receive that love, because it's
Yes,
there, it's
it
already
is
there, just like you
there.
said. It's always there, it's always coming, but how can we open up to receive it? Because we close off, and we have that shell around our heart, and it's like, I don't want to break that. But it's like the
No.
more we dig, and that brings us to the number 9 today, right? Like, fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill.
Mm.
Right? Like,
That's for like myself. It's pouring from an empty cup. You know, if your cup is not filled, and through with my cup, I fill it with meditation. I fill it with
mhm.
energy, with yoga, with all of these things that like you can tap back into. And I notice for myself when if I'm not doing these, every single day, through one way or another, I feel that, and then it's how can I, help others or help myself if I'm not helping myself.
That's right. And like when you overindulge, even in meditation, you can't, it's like you can only charge a battery so much.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Like you can't, and that's what, and I think that's what this is saying. Like anything that you do, if you don't, one, leave room, and two, make sure you're not empty.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Like, what is enough? Before you came on, I was mentioning that I was talking to these app developers. They just put out this app called the Sober app on in Apple Store. So I would suggest that to you
Okay.
and your people. It's called the Sober app, and it's great. And it's if you check me out on Instagram, you can find stuff to that. But I reached out to them because they've been patting themselves on the back for doing these all-nighters about getting the app through. And I had to
Mm.
remind them that they're more important than the app.
Right.
And
Right.
even though all of the sober community has got their back and they're getting all these pats on the back for staying up all night, you're going to lose mental clarity and not
Correct.
realize it's lost.
Mm-hmm.
Fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. And it's like that is where, like, understand that, like, that's still addiction.
Exactly. And that comes in so many different shapes and forms, being
Yes.
addiction, because it's like you get off, a substance. Okay, that's great. Are you filling that void with food? Are you filling that
Go on,
void
girl.
with, too
Netflix?
much of something, too little? It's anything to take us outside of ourselves is a form of an addiction.
Yes. I call those pacifiers.
Yeah.
I would love to have you come to one of my workshops. I got a workshop on Tuesday and there are tickets for donation. So
Mm.
if you're interested, like reach out to me on Instagram and I'll get you
Mm-hmm.
some information on it.
Sure.
Okay, so keep sharpening your knife and it will blunt.
Mm. Yeah. So a dull knife. Um, when we force something and continue to force this, trying to get it to work, eventually it's going
That's
to become
good. That's good.
it's going to become unresponsive in the way that we are trying to get it to work.
Oh, that's a really beautiful way of wording that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, the knife thing, it always kind of, like when I think about sharpening, I always think about wit and I always think about like intelligence and stuff. And it's like, how many people do we know that have been to school for, 30 years and are yet like dumb as a stump,
Yeah. I just was listening to somebody speaking yesterday on I listen to inspirational things, and I can't remember his name, but he's a very intelligent, wise person. I'll have to get you the name after, but
Yeah.
he was saying, you know all of these millionaires and billionaires, you know, they have millions of dollars, but I bet you not one of them would be, or, some of them would not be able to pass, a college assessment test. And
Right.
but yet they have all of these funds and they have all of this money, and that's because they have formed and shaped this persona and this character that allows them to create their reality. It's not about a financial or intelligence. I mean, all of that comes in to a balance, but like what's going on internally is what comes out externally.
Yeah. And then that, like as you were talking about money, here comes this next line, just about, like this is all, we're always talking, we're always returning to this idea of do your work and step back.
Mm.
Chase after money and security, and your heart will never unclench.
Ugh, isn't that the truth? Whew.
Right? Like it's this phantom, and it's a it's like the ancient proverb, the hungry ghost. It's just
Mm.
always eating,
It
and
is.
never is there ever enough?
Right. I
There's
mean, and let's
never
be
enough.
real. Let's be honest with ourselves, because when we leave this flesh body,
Mortal coil. Yeah.
that is not coming with us.
That's right. None of it is. None of it is. And yet,
My spiritual finance needs to
oh,
be always
yes.
flowing.
What a beautiful way of putting it. Yeah. Care about people's approval and you will be their prisoner.
Ugh, seeking
What?
validation. Blah. No, thank you.
But like think about that. You're going to be their prisoner. You
Mm-hmm.
know how many people, how many people have you been inspired by that you have
Mm.
like followed or you have, even our buddy Bill, right?
Yeah.
So many people like put him on a pedestal,
Correct.
and he never wanted to be on a pedestal.
Nope.
He doesn't deserve a pedestal. Like he's fine where he is. And
Right.
like when you and if you care about people's approval, whether you're in the church or whether you're in an economic system or whether you're in the rooms of AA,
Right.
right? If you care about people's approval, then you're not living for yourself and you're
You're
the
not.
prisoner of
You're
an
stripping.
idea that they have because they're not required to approve of you.
Right. It's the most approval that you need is from within yourself. That's the only approval that you need within you and the divine.
That's right. And that's where this final line comes in where do your work and step back.
Mm.
The only path to serenity. Everything else is taking you away from that.
Yep. Doing it in silence.
Just quietly going about your business. That's a phrase that I like a lot. And I just picked up somewhere. It seems to have come from a British background because I think it came from the soccer world. Which like when you just quietly go about your business, and like people don't even notice that you're making strides, and then all of a sudden you're like for me, I've quietly gone about my business. I got 21 years clean and sober. I don't
Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't I don't live that. Like I don't
Right.
live as it like it's not like sobriety isn't my life.
Right.
But recovering who I am is, and
Yes.
I have arrived here after 21 years, and people are like, "Yeah, I got 2 years and let's have a conversation about recovery." And I'm like, "Okay, we can, but you know, like you have to recognize that like I didn't do this publicly. So what I know, you don't know that I know.
Exactly. Mm. That's great.
And so just quietly go about your business and respect and be humble and be present.
And then the rest follows.
That's right. And your life just continues to get better.
It does. It's beautiful. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you this morning.
Ariel, thank you so much for joining me. If you're on Instagram, definitely shoot me a message, and when I'm done here, I will reach out to you. Okay, Dr. Robert was in line first, so we're going to bring Dr. Robert on, and then I have two other people in line, Lois and the Energy Lady. If you guys can hang out, great. Dr. Robert, how you doing this morning?
Oh, you put me before Lois? Oh, wow.
Well, you were in line first.
Uh,
I definitely want to get to her, so once you're done,
okay, 57.
57. Let's just move right along. Dr. Robert, it's good to have you up. It's good to have you up. So, 57. If you want to be a great leader, you must learn to follow the Tao. Stop trying to control. Let go of fixed plans and concepts, and the world will govern itself. I have to say, Doctor, this is one that I have not read much, so I'm really excited to be going through this. It
Okay.
continues to say the more prohibitions you have, the less virtuous people will be. The more weapons you have, the less secure people will be. The more subsidies you have, the less self reliant people will be. Therefore, the Master says, I let go of the law and people become honest. I let
Okay.
go of economics and people become prosperous.
That's right.
I let go of religion and people become serene. I let go of all desire for the common good, and the good becomes common as grass. This, I think, was one of the first chapters that caught my attention in the Tao and really solidified my desire to understand the Tao and the desire to, in a sense, follow. In a sense, I mean, I don't follow the Tao. I just kind of use it as meditations and stuff, but in a sense, follow the Tao. And
Mm-hmm.
it is this last line that says, I let go of all desire for the common good, and the
Amen.
good becomes common as grass.
Wow. And the reality of that, I'm living in a 5-bedroom home on a half an acre and
Yeah.
been retired 8 years. So it is very true what you just read. It can be
Mm.
done. I am
Yeah.
living true. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
This
you.
is a this is such a and again, I think I've only read this once in my whole time of doing this on wisdom. So this is a really special this has always been a special verse for me. So we're going to go through this line by line and see what we can kind of decipher from it and see what we can pull and see how we can inspire others to understand this a little further.
Okay.
If you want to be a great leader, you must learn to follow the Tao. Stop trying to control. Let go of fixed plans and concepts, and the world will govern itself. How does that, like, the world will govern itself? What would you tell to somebody? What could you say to somebody that is like, that's impossible? If we don't have laws, if we don't have rules, people will break them or people will be bad.
Or letting someone else control your universe.
Yeah. Because once you start to stack moral judgments on things, then people lose track of themselves and they're looking outside of themselves at the rules.
That's right. Trying to be approved of something or someone else approval versus on your own.
Yeah.
You come first.
Yeah, you have the laws within you somewhere, right? Like they're
That's
not
right.
written down, but you can feel them. That's so interesting because I want to jump back to this 9 really quick and I want to look
Uh-huh.
at because this one says, like this is that one, do your work and step back, the only path to serenity, right? Like that whole concept of like, well, what is your work? I mean, if you're constantly looking, well, my work is that I'm an IT professional and or I'm a teacher or I'm this, like if you want to be a great leader, you must learn to follow the Tao. Like stop trying to control, stop trying to define, that you are something, that there is a box that you fit in.
Huh, really. Great leaders lead with empathy.
Hmm. And
That's
that empathy can only come from your heart, right? Like
that's
it's
right.
not coming, it's not empathy isn't something you logically arrive at.
No.
And so many people have these fixed plans and concepts, and as this first section wraps up, it says let go of fixed plans and concepts and the world will govern itself. It doesn't need you to step in and say, oh, we need to do this. The world will be fine, and maybe it will be fine without us, but it's going to be fine all the same.
Right. That old saying, fake it until you make it. And the new one, fake famous peoples.
That's right.
Sure.
So
So,
this next section, and like I'm coming out of addiction, and Ariel was in recovery as well, and this next one, the more, and is really kind of profound for us, I think, is the more prohibitions you have, the less virtuous people will be. The more weapons you have, the less secure people will be. The more subsidies you have, the less self-reliant people will be. You know, it's really interesting, this one, and just because prohibitions, you know, when you make drugs illegal, you create a drug war.
That's right. You know, and there's one of the biggest drug wars going on right here in America, and it's right over the counter. You go in the
Mm.
store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's right.
I mean, if we just look at the laws that we've created, like we've created laws and now have like the population of a small country in prison here in the United States.
Hmm.
The more prohibitions you have, the more laws you have, especially laws that tell you can't do shit, the less virtuous people will be.
Hmm. Actually, when you said that, I was looking at a movie, and the guy said, the lady walked him and said, "What you thinking?" And he said, "I'm thinking about killing this bird, you know, because it's caged." And she said, "Well, why don't you let it out?" And he said, "Well, it's just being our cage, so it ain't no difference."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Good on him. You know, like, and that sort of understanding, that sort of depth is like, I have a friend, Kelly, who's been she's here, Kelly Swenson. I don't know if you've run across her. I'm sure you have, but she wants to like write this book or explore this idea, this concept of how normal people have profound understandings. Like, you don't have to be a doctor of metaphysics to have a profound understanding of that, right? Like, why not let this bird go free? Because it's just going to a bigger cage.
That's right.
Like that sort of profound understanding. Have you ever heard of the series on YouTube called the I think it's the soft underbelly, or the white soft underbelly or something? It's a beautiful documentary series. Usually they're about 30-minute interviews with people that are addicts, prostitutes, and individuals that have traditionally been overlooked by society. And it's a really beautiful, beautiful series of interviews
Mm-hmm.
by a photographer. And this is a photographer that used to work in fashion and stuff, and then he went and he started interviewing people that he would run across, living on the street or living in some sort of a desperate situation.
Right. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that. I was,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a beautiful series,
Right.
and that's and that is something that like you're expressing in this movie. Like, it's just a cage with golden bars, son. Like, that's it.
Really, you know.
And then I see these next two lines: the more weapons you have, the less secure people will be; the more subsidies you have, the less reliant people will be. And that really kind of resonates with me as like our current right and left. Like, one wants to bring in all the subsidies and one wants to bring in all the weapons, and it's like, oh, these are both bad.
Hmm.
Like, of course you want to support individuals, and of course you want to allow people to protect themselves, but to what end, and to what extent? So therefore, the master says, I let go of the law and people become honest. How do you think that's possible? I mean, I know how it's possible, but how can you express how you feel that might be possible?
Uh, you standing on a beach and you grab a hand of sand and you just squeeze it tighter and tighter. And when you decide to open your hand, you got nothing.
Hmm.
So,
And
so
that's funny, like, if we look at that sand as the law, you don't have anything. The law doesn't actually stop anybody from doing nothing, but it does cause them to want to do things.
right.
And the thing is that's where people will become honest when you let go of the law, because the law is a lie. Just like you said, like, the more you squeeze it, the more it just slips through your fingers.
That's right. And the rest of it's going to evaporate in your hand into your skin.
Mm.
And then there's the loss. But if you sit there and hold that handful of sand and enjoy it and looking at it, it's just going to sit there until you drop it.
Until you act upon it.
That's right. Until
Mm-hmm.
you act up. I mean, that's even a better word instead of drop. You act up on it. That's right. No.
Yeah. I let go of economics and people become prosperous. Yeah, like so many of us are not prosperous because of the ideas we have of prosperity.
Right.
And as
Trying
I
to
was
hold.
talking, with Ariel earlier, like the hungry ghost of money.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth, bro.
Yeah.
Man.
I let go of religion and people become serene. Another one. It's like religion just creates the rules that we have to live within. But when those rules and when that box is removed, when that cage is removed, we're free to breathe in the vastness of serenity.
That's right. Be free.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But religion wants to put it all into words. Religion wants to say, this is how you do. And it's like, but that's not how I do. Like especially when it comes to like right now with so many frustrations between like huge portions of the population that are not gender conforming or not sexually like not heterosexual and the religious sections of the world. Not that all religions are that way, but so many are today.
Of course, a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't get a relationship. No, I can't stay in a relationship. Why?" Well, what about the relationship you have with yourself?
That's right. And that is, that returns to that first line. If you want to be a great leader, if you want to be great, then we can get rid of a leader. You must learn to follow the Tao. And if you follow the Tao, that's what's within you. But religion is something outside of you.
That's
And
right.
that goes back to our number 9 that we read today, which references that idea that like if you're searching for other people's approval, you'll always be their prisoner. So if you're searching for the approval of religion, you're going to be the prisoner of religion.
Wow, 9:57.
9:57. Who'd have guessed it? And so this one ends like as we read previously. I let go of all desire for the common good and give a damn about the common good. And once we can get there, we can recognize that the good can become common as grass. It will just be good. Everything will be good if we let go of the law, economics, religion.
Yeah. When God made Earth, He said, "Good."
That's right. And it was good.
That's
And then
right.
we're out here going, we can make it better. Bitch, what you know? You don't know nothing.
Now, uh, uh, before I leave, my mentor said, "If you stick with the basics, you won't go wrong."
That's right. That's right. Just like it always comes back to passing back and
Thank you.
forth. Thank you. Oh man, what a great Kelly had to step out. I thought she was in line, but here we are with Lois and the Energy Lady. Lois is first, and then we'll get to the Energy Lady. Hopefully you can stick around. Lois, my girl, how you
Hey
doing?
Martin, how you doing?
I am doing
Oh,
beautiful. What a beautiful day today. Had Ariel, who is a newcomer to Tao of the Day, and Dr. Robert. Now you.
uh-huh. Well, you know what? I'm sitting in my. Oh wow. Yes, I got to do it. My timer said when you said that it says 1444, and my number was 44, and I'm sitting here
Oh.
at my daughter's house this morning because I didn't feel like driving home, and I was talking to her, and it was like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, but anyway, 44.
We'll have plenty of time to get through this. But 44 says fame or integrity, which is more important? Money or happiness, which is more valuable? Success or failure, which is more destructive? If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never be fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you.
I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And that's so on point too. And you know what?
Yep.
They always on point though.
Always, always.
Uh,
I've
we
never, I've
so
never had one, but someone be like, "No, that doesn't make any sense."
no, and you know, but the whole thing is that when we're doing this, when I go on here, I'm going on here just to get one, and I find it very entertaining, and this always is usually my first talk of the day if I catch you,
Yeah.
because I think this is very insightful, and it shows me where I am or where I'm not, or
Mm.
whether I'm in between where I need to be or nowhere near the door.
That's right. That's right. It's like, oh, I got something to learn. One of the things that I was thinking about Tao of the Day and this talk and reaching out with you guys is one of the things that I really love about it is like I don't have any answers. Like I'm just here to be with you while we read this together. And
Yes.
it's so beautiful. Like I'm not here telling you what's right and what's wrong. And we're just exploring something together. We're just, pontificating. But it's a way for us to kind of get our day started with a really nice meditation. And it sends you away thinking, I think. And
Uh-huh.
and that's something like, and it's thinking about you and your life, and you're not wrapped up in the right and wrong. You're just here
No,
with what's
it
getting
gives
said.
you, and it for me, it what it does is for me is that when I question myself or my because I'm always working on me, always, always.
Hmm.
And when I question myself, and then I think, well, God, did I handle that well enough, or whatever it is? Because
Yeah.
I'm seeking Him for that good enough shit. Okay, I ain't seeking
Yeah.
nobody else. I don't care what
Mm.
y'all say. Okay, and then I get a dollar of the day, or somebody I pop in a room that I didn't plan on going in, and then
Hmm.
then I get my answer. Oh, you're in the right direction. Oh, you need to pull back. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, and it shows me. It always shows me where I need to tighten up, because I told you, if I feel some type of way about something somebody is saying, I know I
That's
got to
on
check
you.
me. That's right. So this particular dial, I don't know. 44 has been popping up, popping up, popping up on all my games, the games I play on the pads and all that kind
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah.
And while I'm driving down the street, and just as I was talking to you, it said it came kind of down from the 15th to 14444. So my thing is, not that many fours, but I like this particular one because it just validates that I am headed in the right direction.
Yeah. And this
Because
starts with this triad of
mm,
of comparison, right? Like this fame or integrity, which is more important?
yes, but
Fame,
yeah,
like to think about that. Like we might be going out there on Instagram and stuff looking for followers and interactions and likes and all that kind of
mm-mm.
stuff. But which is more important, that fame or your integrity?
There it is. See, and I mean, I think I told you before. Fame could have came to me a long time ago. I
I
could have
heard
been
you.
famous for modeling. I could have been famous for shit building programs. I could have been
Hmm.
famous for a whole lot of stuff. But for me, it was not about fame. It was about keeping my integrity. I mean, even when I was 17, I had this situation where I had a boyfriend, but I had promised somebody else something belonged before I had a boyfriend. And so I had to choose where I was going to be a woman of my word, or a girl of my word, or and mess up my relationship, or was I just going to be another person who talks shit and broke people's heart?
Mm.
Okay. And I lost the relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. It's said simple as I lost relationship, and the person they didn't talk to me for 20 something years. They just recently started saying something to me. They talked to my sister, but they did not
Mm.
talk to me for 20 something years
Wow.
because I
It
broke
takes
their
time.
heart. I broke
Yeah.
their heart, but I had to keep my integrity.
That's
And I
right.
explained, and when they came back into my realm, I told them that my integrity was more important, and that at this age that we are now, they understood it. But at that age, they were not. They did not understand that stuff, and it took them that long to go beyond that. And it's so funny. His wife looks like me.
I'm sure she does. It's hard.
I was
It's
like,
hard.
oh
It's
man.
it's hard to give that up, girl.
And that was unintentional. That was
Of course,
unintentional.
of course.
I was
No,
a
no, no.
kid. I was just trying to keep my integrity,
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right.
And it paid off because I've always kept my integrity and tried to be as honest as possible, and except when it's going to hurt somebody,
Yeah.
And then, like I
That's
said, and
right.
I figure out a way. So yeah, I've been through this, and the money, and
Money or happiness, which is more valuable?
man, I had to chase that paper. I used to chase that paper, literally chase it down the street. Okay.
Hmm.
And I realized that no, I'd rather have the joy and the happiness than and the peace of having my family because when I chased the paper, I left my loved ones behind.
That's
Okay,
right. That's right. That's
and
right.
so no,
The
so that's what I'm
value, the
saying.
value in happiness, like you can't, they say you can't buy happiness, and that is, like I remember there was a talk on here about someone who was saying, there are actually people out there who say you can't buy happiness. Imagine how, like how their thought process is all messed up. And I was like, no, it's true. Money has so little value, especially when
Yeah,
you're talking about family and love and self-respect and all of
and the
these
thing is,
things.
the whole thing is, I look at it this way. Happiness is not what I was striving for. I don't care crazy about happiness because happiness depends on what happens. Okay.
That's
And
right. That's right.
if I'm dependent on my happenings to make me happy, I'd be fucked a long time ago. No,
I'm telling you.
I searched for joy. I wanted the joy so that no matter what I was going through, I would have peace. Okay. Because with happiness, you don't have peace, but with joy, you can have peace in the midst of a storm. So I'm going to tell you this, no, happiness, it wasn't what I gained. And it wasn't what I was after because every time I searched for happiness, I end up kicked in the ass because it depends on what happened.
That's right.
So my quest was for joy. That's the only word I would change in that. But go ahead.
Success or failure, which is more destructive?
You know
That's the
what?
end of the
I'm gonna be
triad,
honest
and
with
that's so beautiful because, like, I look at it like, like failure just often inspires us to try something, try a new way,
you. Right?
you
Boy, you
know?
better preach. That's what Einstein said. I mean, not Einstein. Edison when he was trying to make the light bulb, and
Yeah,
he used to hide himself off in the back, and his wife would bring him food, and he's sitting in the dark with a candle trying to figure out the light bulb, and he failed so fucking many times, and
that's
so
right.
they would come in and says, well, you know what? Didn't you feel like a failure? You kept failing over and over again because it said he's failed over hundreds of times before he got it. He said, I didn't consider anything a failure because I just knew what didn't work. I found out what didn't work. And I just kept looking at, okay, that don't work. Okay, that don't work. Okay, that don't work. Instead of like, oh my God, I failed. Oh my God, I failed. Oh my God, I failed. So it's the way we look at these things. When I look at it like he did, and like you just said, that was just wait, that just did not work.
Yeah.
So
And how many
let's be more
successes, right?
creative.
Like if you have a success, meaning you make a lot of money or whatever, and how many people, how much of that gets, like think about fracking. I mean,
Mm,
if you know anything about fracking, or if you know, like, oh, fracking's a success. We can make a lot
hmm
of money for this little thing, and how much of the world are we destroying little by little,
yeah.
and how much water are we using, and how much destruction just by just because it was financially successful.
And okay, I'm gonna forget fracking. I mean, I understand, I get that, and I don't like it, but what they've put in our food,
I'm telling you.
they already know that it's harmful. They already knew it didn't pass FDA on some of this shit, and then they put it under the cover of darkness, pay somebody off so that additive can get in our food, and then they preach the additive. Oh, diabetics, you need to take this equal. You need to do this because it's that, and then they cause cancer and everything, and they knew all that before it
Hmm.
came on the market, but they went after it just for the money.
And there it
So
is, a
it's stuff.
success. Which is more
Okay,
destructive, success or failure? Right?
so
And then what is more important, fame or integrity, right? This triad just keeps, like, it's just a loop. And if you fall for one of these, fame, money, or success, rather
hmm
than like struggle through failure, stand by your integrity and be within in like be in bliss, or be in joy, or be in happiness or whatever, like
yeah.
those things, like you you might not have the best of the best of the best that is offered, but those things are successes and may be destroying
But
you.
guess what? You know what? But I mean, like I said, I wasn't never money hungry because I could have married money a long time ago. My
Oh, I'm
Jesus,
sure you could have.
at 18, and I wasn't gonna sell it. If I had to kept my integrity at 17, at 18 and 19, why would I sell out for some
That's
money?
right. That's
I
right.
was poor. Wait, now I was, and at that time I was a college student. My parents' credit was so bad, and they had stole my identity and used it for bills till I couldn't even qualify for student housing. And I
Mm,
had scholarships, and I had
yeah.
scholarships, okay? So I had to be renting an apartment with somebody. So that means most of all my money went to pay half the rent. So half the
Mm-hmm.
time I didn't have no food. I was eating rice and sugar. Okay. And then to my friend's mother was like, she did what? She was eating what? Because I didn't
Yeah.
have even butter to put on the rice. And I was dating somebody who was a well-known psychologist and blah 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 blah, and had the money, driving a Mercedes, picking me up, having sending cars to pick me up, and I was eating rice and sugar at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and he offered me the world. I'm sorry, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah. And
Hell,
here we
fucking
go,
no.
like into the next line. If you look to others for fulfillment, you'll never be truly fulfilled. If your
Yeah.
happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I said, God gave me integrity at an early age. I told you I walked my ass to the church at 7 years old, asking for wisdom.
Hmm.
That was my come to Jesus, first come to Jesus moment. But I didn't want him to save me from molestation. I didn't know nothing about all this woo woo stuff.
Yeah, no, I
I
hear you.
wanted to be saved from beatings and the molestation. So,
Yeah.
and I asked for wisdom. So for me, this is like a life well lived. This is a journey now, because I think back and I was like, and I would always have. Sometimes I would have regrets. Oh my God, should I have not? Should I have done that? Especially when it got to the hard times. But then when I think about all the growth that I got by being the maverick, by chopping the trees down, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? The strength I gained by having to walk through the mud and the shit. Okay, I would not change not one damn thing. No, I'm not rich. No, I'm not wealthy. Yeah, but yes, I do have everything that I need in this moment. I have every absolute thing I need. Even if I had nothing material in this moment, I have absolutely everything I need.
You are truly wealthy, you know? Be
Yeah,
content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you, Lois.
I'm gonna say a, but a
Hey,
motherfucking
yeah, I
man.
know what you're saying. Drop that motherfucking bomb. What's up? No,
Oh,
like
okay.
absolutely. Like when you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. And Lois, you have lived your life and continue to live your life and inspire others. And you coming on here and dropping wisdom every day. And and I am so grateful that
But
we
this is
get to
my
share.
passion. You remember passion, whatever. This has always been my passion since I was a little kid to help people.
Mhm.
I'm serious. I did systematic desensitization with people, trying to get rid of agoraphobia, and I knew nothing about either one of those damn things. All
No.
I knew is I needed the girl to come outside because it was good for her to stay inside, and let's get her down the block.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. Thank you so much. You're going to be dropping off
Okay,
soon, but
you're
I want to
welcome.
say this one last thing is that, and I'm going to bring Energy Lady on. Um, oh, Felicia just came on. Sharente's on as well. Energy Lady has been in line, and I really appreciate you guys hanging out if you can. But I was saying, oh, shoot, I lost it. Oh, yeah, you don't have to understand why you do what you do to go ahead and do it, Lois. I just wanted to say that. Energy Lady, how you doing, girl?
Good morning.
Good
Thanks for being on
morning.
my walk with me again. It's always really nice
Oh,
to have a partner walking with me.
I love walking and talking. It's one of my favorite things to do. Like when like that's usually a first date for me. I'm just like, hey, you want to go to the woods and walk? Because like I can't eat at a restaurant.
Right, right. Now
So
that
I don't
is
know what you
fun.
think a first date is, but we're gonna take a walk in the
Yeah, what,
woods.
getting to know me?
Yeah.
What?
Like what? Like we have to talk in the woods? It's like
Right. Not even
I
that. We
know,
have to talk. I thought we were going to hide behind the food. Come
right?
on.
You know, like I like big menus. Remember when menus were enormous and you'd
Yes.
sit down and you wouldn't be able to see anybody on the other side of them? Man,
Right.
they don't do that in fancy restaurants anymore.
I don't know. I haven't
So
been to one in a long time, so I
it's
forget.
true. It's been a couple of years for me as well. So
I got. I do want to say real quick is that I had a number and I just listened from 9 up and it changed. I thought that was
oh
cool.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, so it must have answered itself. So I'm going to go with the one. I keep trying to go back and it keeps yelling at me no. So I'm going to go with 73.
73.
I feel like this is like a lottery or something, you
It is. It is. Like you never know what you're gonna get. Well, I mean, you know you're gonna get a Dow. The
know?
Dow is always ooh. The Dow is always at ease. It overcomes without competing, answers without speaking a word, arrives without being summoned, and accomplishes without a plan. I think this is right up your alley. It's the its net covers the whole universe, and though its meshes are wide, it doesn't let a thing slip through.
And all I heard was, be quiet, be still, and all will work.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, yeah, and off you go. No, yeah. So one of the things that this speaks so loudly to me about you because we have been chatting for a bit. It's this idea of overcoming without competing, answering without speaking a word, and arriving without being summoned. Like you can just like so much of like that which you had gone through over the last until more recently. I don't know how long you've been on this like you have created something, but you were creating it in this space of in this structure that wasn't yours,
Yes.
and being able to pull it out of that structure and then try and understand your structure, like that's what this is saying to me, at least, is just like, wow, there's a whole new structure that you're that it's kind of like when you move, like I can't move my bed out of my door, but I have to take it apart so I can move it. It's kind of like what you did with your playground, right? Like the whole space of everything was built in a structure that you were a little at odds with. And then you're like, I have my own structure. I have to dismantle this whole playground and build it over there. And that's kind of what this is. This, like, visually, that's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, and it's interesting because between last night, and today, is adopting other people's, I want to say structures, but what I've done is I take it all on thinking they have the answers instead of taking what's there for me and leaving the rest behind. What my system well, my head keeps saying is that that's not enough. But when I
Right.
go, no, when I go fully into it, I can't breathe.
Right.
So I don't know which one's right, but I'm thinking the non-breathing thing is like,
That's
stop.
probably there's a
Just
sign there.
saying,
There's a sign there.
just saying, just
Yeah.
saying.
So the Tao is always at ease. That line, like, always at ease. Like I initially wanted to just blow past that because okay, that's obvious, but you just said this idea of like when I think about that, I can't breathe. Like that is
Yep.
not at ease.
No.
Like the Tao is always at ease. So if you're stepping in a direction that removes that sense of being at ease, well then hold on now. Maybe that's not the exact direction we need to go. That doesn't mean I have the right direction to go, but at least I can bring into my awareness that this might not be right.
Right. And putting it together is interesting because yesterday I was, just contemplating dealing with my day, and I kept saying, there's something I'm not seeing, and all I heard was go on your website, put this word into your search engine, and it'll come up. And I
Yeah.
did, and it showed me what I've already created.
Yeah.
So there's no need to create. It's about adapting the vehicle to come in so that that can happen.
Yeah. And that's beautiful because that brings us into this. It overcomes without competing. Like here you
Yeah.
were, and then you were just like, well, let me look, and then it just comes to you, and there's no competition, there's no fight, there's no struggle. It is just you are open to receive it.
Right. And what I have a friend who's, trying to help me, and I don't mean trying, but she's like, she always stands there with me, when she can. And what I hear is that what I'm used to is what this is saying to me is what I'm used to is having to struggle. I mean, I was listening to
Yeah.
Lois, to Dr. Robert, and it's like what I'm supposed to do is this, otherwise it won't work. And that's what part of the structure is saying to me via people. But I keep saying, but that doesn't work in my head. It might work
Right.
for you, but it doesn't work for me because I'm not people don't like the idea that I'm not competitive. I don't compete with anybody but myself.
Right.
And it's not competition. It is a desire to enjoy enhancing myself and embracing it. But what the struggle came up with in the last week is this competition of I'm not doing enough.
Right. Like I
And
was going to say, well, sometimes it might be competition,
no,
but
it's no, not with this one. No. Mm-mm.
okay.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But not no, because no. This is
Okay.
what I'm doing is the family structure dynamic that I took on as mine is slowly breaking down.
Yeah.
And it's not about right, wrong, I'm going to fix. I mean, I was listening to all of it. I'm going to fix, I'm going to be
Mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm.
No, it's simply about I'm sitting in my world, I'm sitting in my playground, and people are going to come and I'm going to invite people in because I get to have people. I don't have to
Yeah.
chase people. I get to have people. I get to have people around me who want to be there. That's
Yeah.
all. So let's
And
keep
then
going.
it continues like it overcomes without competing, answers without speaking a word. And this next line is really kind of impressive for what you've been talking about because it arrives without being summoned.
Right. And somebody said this to me, Nancy, what you want your friends to come to you instead of you going to them.
Yeah.
And what that is saying is when I was walking and listening is that my system keeps putting me in this box. And there's nothing about me that is a box. First of all, I'm not
No.
square. No, I'm not square. It's got edges. And the other thing is it's the enjoyment of. And that's what I'm feeling. It's like, okay, I'm going to simply enjoy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I listen to Lois go and I'm like, can I feed off of that?
Yeah. And you can.
Yeah, I
You
know
absolutely
exactly.
can. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Just I
And
don't
then
want people no, but I don't want people to tell me what I should do.
no.
I want
No.
people to simply be in the space of being because
Right.
I I
Yeah.
I feed from that and I want people to feed from that from me. So I'm not the answer. I'm
Right.
simply a vehicle of light and love
You know,
and
I,
knowledge.
I I read this and it says, it overcomes without competing, answers without speaking a word, arrives without being summoned, accomplishes without a plan. So all of that is broken down as I see it in the linear, right? The linear sort of I am ahead of you and I will compete with you to be ahead of you. I will speak to you because I know more than you. I will it arrives without being summoned, like this idea that I have to call it into my existence, this manifestation sort of world. I have to call it
You know,
into
I
existence.
was just going to say what just came to me is a concept that has been taught to the human race of the law of attraction.
Yeah, like and that is so like yes, this is true. Like those things are, true, but it has been it has been,
Ta Tainted.
to an extent bastardized, like
Yeah.
pretty extensively. And then accomplishes without a plan. The idea that you have a plan is that you are in control. It's this linear idea of like I am ahead of someone, and we are shoulder to shoulder together right now. No matter what we think or where we're like, so many people want to be like I'm a coach, so I'm better, and you can use me, and all of these sorts of things. And it's like just like you were saying, like no, be there. And that's so much of and there's you and there's myself and there's so many other people that
Yeah.
are really doing our work so others can be, rather
Well,
than doing our work
that's
so
why I took on the energy lady. It
yeah,
doesn't have. It's not a real title.
right.
of other people. So my question to you, and you might have it, you might not, doesn't matter. But my question to you, which you're the universe right now, no pressure,
No, no.
is if there's no plan and there's no essence of leadership, but it's bringing in people, how does where's the fine line to go for me as a person?
For you, well, I don't know for you, but that
No,
brings us
no,
back. Yeah,
being
that
a
that
person.
that
Go ahead.
definitely brings us back to this idea of 57.
Yes.
Like that I was talking about with Robert. Like when you let go of the desire for the common good, and then the good becomes common as grass. It's not
So
about you having a concept of what good is. It's about allowing the good to be common. And it's because once you define good, then you try to control it, right? And that's where this 73, like, its nets cover the whole universe. And although the meshes are wide, it doesn't let a thing slip through. No matter where you are, you're not in the wrong place. You just have to
right.
learn how to use the place you're at to continue.
Okay, and
You are not, you have not fallen through the mesh of the Tao of the universe, right?
what does that mean?
You're not forgotten, like, right, like so many times we can be out here in the world and think, oh, we're at odds with something, but what we're at odds with is something that is going on within us, not external to us. Does that help? I don't know. Like, that might be more confusing.
No, I'm letting it correlate in my brain
Yeah,
because
so
what I got. Wait, what? Let me say this and
yeah,
see if it
please.
works. Okay. What I saw was that it's not about me creating something; it's about me living in it, and people will come.
Yeah, and you understand
The
it.
energy. Let me rephrase that. The energies will be there, so I'm not competing to win. I'm being to feel.
Right, like
I don't
right
want to say
now, like
safe
you.
because it's not safe. I want to feel the
Right,
power.
it's not safe. You want to feel,
No.
period. Well,
By the way,
because
wait, little caveat. I love that
yeah.
conversation yesterday about safe. Keep going.
Oh, well,
Keep,
wonderful. Yeah, so
no, you and somebody else. It was
yeah,
funny.
I
No, it was
was, yeah,
funny. It was funny. It was like, oh, you ain't taking me off my stance. Mm-mm.
yeah.
You stayed secure, but it was funny to watch. I kept feeling, it
Yeah,
was,
yeah. No,
anyway, keep going.
yeah, I
I
was,
had to tell you that because I was going to text you. I went, nah, I'll be able to tell him.
yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, because like when I was done with that, I was like, oh, she's not comfortable. Like that's okay. We're good.
No, which is good.
Yeah,
Which is exactly what needed to be said
yeah,
because words are misconstrued. Period.
yeah. And
Energies and
so
words.
like just to kind of wrap this up,
Yes.
this idea of the meshes is like we really often feel like we have been left, right? Like we can't get back, and we can't achieve something, but or we're in the wrong place. I mean, how many times people are like, oh, I'm stuck? It's like, no, you're not. Like, you're good. Just what is the next most obvious thing for you? And I think people are finding that everywhere right now. And as people kind of fall into the idea or start to understand that they don't like what they're leaning on, they're going to start standing up.
Well, this is, to me, this is a great awakening for the whole thing. It's a great awakening for the world. What I'm doing is saying, okay, I didn't mess up all these years creating, and I know I'm going to fall, creating what I've been creating. So, what part of it do I keep running away from?
That's right. And that's a
And
that
it's the
might not that might
simplicity.
there
No,
might
it's the
not be an
simplicity.
answer to that right away. And that's okay.
No,
You are
it
not
is.
falling through.
No, I know I'm going to drop. It's a simplicity, and now I get to allow.
You get to allow the simplicity to come to you. Yes. I appreciate you coming on. I do have a cue lined up. Sharante's on, so I'm going to take Sharante, and then Felicia, and then Christina and Kelly. That is quite a few people in line. If you guys can hang out, of course, hang out. I know where you are, so if you need to drop and then come back, I can always bring you back in. Sharante, how are you doing?
Hey, Martin John, Grand Rising.
Yes. How so? It's wonderful to have you back.
It's wonderful to be back, sir.
So, how I don't know. How are you feeling today? Do you have a big
Honest,
day ahead of you? What's your scope?
today I really don't have much planned. I'm letting Divine inspire me besides doing my W-2 job. I'll be absolutely honest.
Yeah.
And it feels good. I know it sounds weird, but it feels good not to have anything planned right now because there's a
Yes, I
whole
love I love
mainly
I love
having
days
plans.
like when it's just like, oh my God, I got nothing planned. Let's see what the day has to hold. So let's see what the Dow has for you today. Do you have a number for me?
I sure do. 33 popped out at me.
33. Let's see where that is. That's right here, 33. Okay. This is a short one, but we can dive deep. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. If you realize that you have enough, you are truly rich. If you stay in the center and embrace death with your whole heart, you will endure forever.
Okay.
Thoughts?
That's it coincides with my mom being like Joseph from the Bible and interpreting my dream this morning,
Mm.
and some things that I was doing last night because here I actually wrote it down. Yesterday I was feeling very stressed out. Okay, and this is how it showed up to me. Me feeling stressed out by feeling like I'm not doing enough work, even though I was. Um, my husband appeared to be stressed. His friend appeared to be stressed, who stressed my husband out more. And then my one of the directors at my company was super stressed out, and I felt super stressed. But all they were trying to show me is the reflection of, Sharente, why are you stressed out right now? What's
Gone.
going on with you?
Yes.
And for me, I also found out this morning it was my husband was my emotional side. The person that was a friend was about money. The other person for the job was about work. So in these three areas, like, why am I stressed out about these three areas?
Those are the three most stressed areas I think on the planet, right?
So
Like
that's
relationship, work, and money. Fuck. Like those are things that everyone's just like, these things are so important, but really, it's you that's important. So like, maybe this has to do with like, see, this is right. This goes right into our first line. Knowing others is intelligence. You know your husband, you know your boss, you know your husband's friend, all of that kind of stuff. But knowing yourself is true wisdom.
I felt that. And I will say I appreciate that I was able to reflect and to see that no, that what happened today was just reflections of me.
Hmm.
And it's okay. Now that I know that it came from me, I now know what not to manifest and not to focus on. Um,
That's right.
I'm just going to say that
True
for
wisdom.
myself.
True wisdom.
Oh, it is. And that's why I was like, ooh, that's very powerful and it's very spot on. And for me, it's also bridging the gap between my feminine and my masculine side and coming back to balance too, which is why I
Yeah.
feel stressed.
There is so much to that. There's a lot about that whole idea of like masculine, feminine structure and yielding, right? Like here it is, you're out at your job and you have your relationship. All of those are structures, but you are utilizing those things to find more bits about yourself and to understand who you are. And that's the feminine, right? The feminine is yielding to that to that quiet, yielding to that inner knowing, yielding to that soul within you, where your body is just the masculine. And so the relationship is the structure, the body is the structure, the work or the job is the structure, the relationship is the structure. All of those things are the masculine, but that which comes through those things that bring you to that light, that's the feminine, and balancing those so that you're not just focused on the structures, not just focused on the manifestations.
I'm writing everything down.
Okay. So then, like, So then this line continues, or this section continues. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. And I would think that would hold true if you were like telling your husband, "Hey, you got to calm down. You got to calm down," right? Like that's one of the interesting things about this is like so many people think that like, "Oh, your energy is fucking me up." And it's like, "Whoa, like if it's fucking you up, that's yours." Right? Like, yes, I have it, but there's a reflection in there for you. And so, mastering others is strength. And maybe you can feel better now that they're calm, but then something else is going to get you stressed out then. Mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself, just like you're looking to yourself to own that true power and to do this work now. And maybe it doesn't happen in the moment, but it happens now.
I hear you, Martin John. I hear you. That's all I was like. Everything I would say for me is resonating, and I think now I kind of know what I have to do today, but not really today. It's just whatever intuition and spirit gives me
Yeah,
today to
of
do
course.
is what I'm gonna do. Because, like I said, right before I went to sleep last night, I was like, I need to evaluate why in the world I was stressed out today. I don't like that. I don't like that I was stressed out. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel good at all. And then it was I thought it was a power play or something like that. And I was like, no, it's not a power play. This was me. So let's not
Mm,
call it hero. Let's not call it that. It was me feeling like someone, not actually probing and asking questions. Because if I asked questions, I would actually understood that the person that was stressing over nothing for the work job in regards to they were uneducated about how things go when it comes to projects. That's not on me. The
right.
next part was for my husband. He was stressed out in regards to a leadership position that was something that he didn't need to focus on. He just needed to focus on him. And I was stressed out over that. And then the last one was because of the situation of the leadership, um, his friend made him stressed out because he's like, now my reputation on the line. I was like, no, it's not. I was like, that reputation of themselves is on the line. And you just got to keep your peace and let them know what's going on and leave it alone. But like I said, for me, I stopped work to do that. And then I was tardy to a work meeting doing that, which caused me more stress. I'm talking it out right now, which
Yeah,
caused
I
me
hear
more
you.
stress because I felt I should have been at that meeting on time and I would have been at that meeting if I wasn't taking care of someone else's problems. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
I'm
so
back.
here we go. Here we go. If you realize that you have enough, you are truly rich. Like, and when it says you have enough, it's not necessarily, it's talking about enough wisdom, enough strength, enough power, right?
No, I completely get it. And what I got was I have enough because I am enough and to stay in my lane. That's just what I
Stay in
got
your
right now.
lane. Oh, girl,
Stay in
right
my
here.
lane.
Well, you gotta talk about staying in your lane. Yeah, that's such a big deal because, like, when you decide to take on the stress of your husband because of his job and his stuff, like, you gotta bring it back home and go, like, wait a minute, he's stressed out about a leadership position that he's, like, and that's on him completely. I want to be here and support him so I can listen and I can do all that, but I ain't gotta take it up. It ain't my job. I got enough shit I got to deal with. And
Pretty much.
you have enough love, you have enough love for him to not. I always say like like my idea of relationship is like I want to love you enough not to marry you. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to love you so much that I don't want to get involved with your life. I just want to love you. You know what I'm saying? And like that is like this idea of like realize that you have enough love to give your husband that you don't have to do anything to to try and get involved in what he needs to work on.
Taking notes.
Yeah, yeah. If you
No,
so
because
then
here's
yeah,
the
I'm just
thing.
kind of like, oh, maybe I stepped too far.
No, you're
if that
fine. So here's the
if
thing.
you
So
yeah
there's a diagram that God had me draw like years ago, and it's literally God on top, and it's the cross in the middle, right? And on the left side, I said it was me. On the right side, I said it was my partner or my spouse. But what God just gave me was no, it's God on top, feminine on the left, masculine on the right, and others below me. That's how
Hmm.
I should live my life.
And that's
Because
you.
the thing is, yes, it was me all along.
Yeah.
Everything I wrote was me all along.
Yeah. And it always is. And then you manifest that in the world. But if you get caught in this idea that the manifestation matters, you're lost again. Like you can't, like, the manifestation is just showing you what direction to kind of take your heart and move forward into. And that's where this next line, if you stay in the center and embrace death with your whole heart, you will endure forever. And embracing death means embracing death of your job, embracing the death of your relationship, and that doesn't mean that the relationship ends. It just means it changes, it shifts. You may have been a partner in your relationship that would take on the challenges of your husband rather than being simply a support to continue your husband challenging himself in his life, which is really what we all want. We don't want a nanny, right? We want
Keep
we
talking
want
to people in the
someone
back for
to.
myself, okay?
What's that?
I said, keep talking to the people in the back, aka myself.
Yeah. And so that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Because if we can embrace death with our whole heart, meaning the death of everything, the death of our relationship, the death of our job, the death of our identity, the death of our body. If we can embrace that, then we can endure forever, meaning we will be here present in the moment, being able to say the things that need to be said, to look the way we need to look, to be present the way we need to be present, to do all of those things, one step after another. And when we are in alignment with the Tao, when we're in alignment with God, when we're in alignment with whatever, like we are not, we are utilizing our free will and kind of to an extent giving it up to a higher source. We are
That makes
living
sense.
in
Total
conjunction.
surrender.
Yeah, we're living in conjunction with. I think up until this point, the idea of free will is like you have free will and you can identify and you can do all these things. And yes, that's all fine and good, but it doesn't get us as far as we can go if we kind of allow ourselves to surrender that free will to the greater good, which is the good of everyone.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I really do hear you. Like I said, taking notes.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
total surrender, now that actually finally makes sense because you hear it in the Bible a lot, but no one really describes what surrender really means. So
Yeah.
for me, it makes sense because I'm okay with the death of old thought processes. I'm
Right.
okay with it because it helps me to feel better. That's I guess bliss and it makes me feel better because I'm not stressed out and stuff. And like I said, for me, this just everything resonates, and God is talking through everything. So Martin John Garcia, I appreciate you, and I thank you for still living. Thank you for choosing life.
Oh, thank you. No, that touches me so much. You have no idea. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you. Um, Sharente, you're beautiful, and I appreciate it. Felicia's gonna join me now. Um, yes, sirree. Felicia, how you doing, girl?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Wow, I'm managing rolling over at the time I rolled over and right into the Dow and the
And it's been
lineup
it's
that you
been it's been such a lively one today.
exactly because everybody's getting up and we're getting ready for do-over. We're getting ready for our groundhog day. We're
That's
getting ready
right.
to
That's right.
be a better version of ourself day. Letting old things pass away, but taking the lessons with us day.
That's
Come
right.
on. Come on.
That's
And
beautiful.
so I just heard everything, and I was listening to what Sharente says about what surrender looks like. And, in my young days, man, it was like surrender. I mean, surrender. Shoot, you mean give up? Shoot, I ain't got one of those bones.
That's
Wait, wait, surrender. What do you mean? What do you
yeah.
mean? I would have known what surrender looked like if it had run me over with a Mack truck. I'd still be like, I'm not surrendering. You just don't know what you don't know until you
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah, I mentioned this a little bit ago. Like I have friends who just put out this sober app
Hmm.
and they're doing all these like all-nighters and stuff. And I'm like,
Hmm.
you're gonna lose clarity. And it's like they don't wanna sleep because they're like,
Hmm.
the app is so important and the community wants me to do this, but the community will kill you. I mean, just ask
Yeah.
Tupac.
Come on now. Come on now.
You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on.
Like sometimes
The
your
community of what?
that's right. Sometimes your death is more valuable than what you're contributing to other people.
Hmm.
And it's like and when these folks that I love and care for, like when I watch them like patting
Hmm.
themselves on the back for not sleeping for 2 days, I'm like, bitches, you are
You're
that's a highway
influence.
to
You're
hell, bitch. Like I don't
look,
fucking know,
right.
but that is not the direction that you want to bring this community of sobriety. You do not
Oh,
want to support like newly sober people into saying, you know what, you're sober, you're
sacrifice,
good.
sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrifice, sacrifice. It's like I'm giving back, and I'm like, yeah, you are also contributing to the harm of like addiction because now you're just addicted to
To helping people with addictions.
yeah, helping people with addiction. And you're addicted to your productivity. You're addicted to, like
Exactly.
all of the pats on the back you're getting for staying up all night and we believe in you and all that. Like
Yeah.
now
All that
now
smoke up
now
your
you're
ass.
fucked up.
All that smoke up your ass. And then you're blowing smoke up your own ass.
That's
I'm
right.
just like, come on
I
now.
can't tell you how many times I've been on this app and I've jumped onto a talk of dios and I'm just like everybody be blowing smoke up her ass like
Hmm.
it's like I mean the app's good and all, but like, like some of the things y'all say is like, come on. Like really? Like I've been up in these rooms, like I know what's up. Like, you know,
I've been
I
down
don't
this road,
yeah, right?
and I
Like
know
every
what it sounds like when I'm faking it.
that's right.
And I know what it sounds like when I really kind of live through this, and I'm learning more and more to try to not, look, I'm not going to say try to not. We're here for the experiencing of it, and
That's
once
right.
I've experienced something, I'm moving on to the next experience, you know?
Hmm.
Shoot, like I
Yeah.
just moved on from yesterday to today. I woke up and I'm like, shoot, I'm never up this early. So my sister and Sharente, Lois, they know it. I'm like, man, I ain't in that car till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just telling them, putting it out there. But it's just, man, retiring from work. And I say that I retired like 11 years ago, but I'm still on the job.
Yeah.
I retired from that, save everybody, let me give all of my emotional strength to this area. Let me give all, because I was getting something back. I was getting something back. I was getting that smoke up my ass.
Hmm.
I was
That
getting
feels
something
good. It feels
back.
good to
It
have
feels
smoke up your
good.
ass. You
It
know.
really does. The little warmer. It's just like having like a little seat warmer for the toilet, but
That's
it's
right.
still
Yeah.
shit. But
No.
it's still shit going
That's
down the
right.
same hole. You
That's
know?
right.
So,
You ain't
so
lying. You ain't lying.
I'm just
I know.
saying. I'm just saying. I'm just like I retired from being tired.
Yes.
I'm retired. I want to be refreshed.
That's
I
right.
want to be here in this moment. I don't
Hmm.
want the things that of yesteryear to keep driving me. And now that those things have been revealed to me step by step, like Lucille Ball, inch by inch.
Yes, that's right.
Now that those things have been revealed to me, I just want to say, okay, I don't owe this anything.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on for myself because I have another lesson. You
That's
know,
right.
I never have another something that I don't know. I have another unknown, not
There's
to
all sorts of
tackle,
unknown.
not
That's
to
right.
conquer, but just
Yep.
like I enjoy knowing what I know now, hey, I am a forever learner. I am a forever
Well, let's
learner.
see what we're gonna learn today. Why don't you give me a
22,
number?
22.
22.
I had a
22.
number.
Moving right along.
22.
All right, so this is interesting. I read this to somebody on their channel the other day, just because he was he's this guy. It's on here. I forget his name, but he's going for the priesthood, and I'm introducing him to the Tao.
All right, all
So,
right.
if you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to be full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. The Master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings because he doesn't display himself. People can see his light. Because
Hmm.
he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people can recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient masters said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, they weren't using empty phrases. Only by being lived by the Tao can you truly be yourself. You know, that's crazy because we were just talking about that. We were just
That's
talking
right.
about
Right.
Sharante and I were just talking about this idea of surrender.
Mm-hmm.
By being lived by the Tao, by surrendering to be lived by the Tao, you can truly be yourself. That's the
Yes.
only way of being able to truly be yourself.
Yes. Is themselves. I mean, I wasn't looking for anybody. I was trying to find myself in others,
Right.
in work, in play. We were always on this search because you knew that there was something more than what you were experiencing. So you just let yourself go and put yourself back on the wheel, off the wheel. I surrendered to another round on the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
To another round on the Ferris. I surrender to another day dawning.
You know, there's this verse starts with this really beautiful line, and then it goes into all of the other ones. But that
Right.
first one is like, if you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. Now, that one
Mm-hmm.
is really specific to me because in this last
Mm-hmm.
line it says, only being lived by the Tao can you truly be yourself. When
Right.
we with our idea of free
Right.
will, we want to go and do ourselves and be whole. But the
Right.
only way to be whole is when we're only half making the rules.
Right.
We want to be partial. And in being partial, we're sharing ownership with God or with the Tao.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. I mean, and when you're partial, you're not full of ideas. You
Right. You
recognize
can
that you
you can
don't
leave.
know something.
That brings up this phrase that I came across years and years ago, which was probably over
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, which was always leave room for inspiration.
Ooh, that is,
Right?
ooh,
Like when
ooh.
you eat, when you do anything, like when you work, just leave in your day in every way, like leave room for inspiration.
Ooh, you are hot today. You are hot today.
Mm.
I'm just gonna, pause.
Yeah.
I want that to sink in.
Yeah, if you want to
I'm moving
become
around.
whole, let yourself be partial. Leave room for inspiration because if you're whole, if you fill it in, then that's all you. And there's no room to learn, there's no room for inspiration, there's no room for any of it. It
Right,
then goes through all of these like become straight, crooked, become full, be empty, be reborn, die. You know, we
right.
we we had addressed this idea of dying today with Sharante. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. This is again like I was even talking with the energy lady about like
Right,
don't get lost in that manifestation. Just be
right. I love that.
present.
I,
Yeah.
I love that. And you know what? The only way The only way not to get lost is to be present,
Yes.
because what you're looking forward to is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking back, it's an illusion because it's already been.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you're present and you're ready for the day, then you're totally open. You're not moving forward in your head and getting stuck somewhere in your plans, and you're not, looking back behind you. You're just coming to present. And I heard this thing the other day, and it says that when you start meditating, the first time you start meditating, you realize how not present you have been, that you can't even sit still and your mind is just rocking back and forth like a cradle and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And so there's the work to do. How about I work at being present? How about I didn't even know what that looked like until, that the monk, I call him the monk, he's my monk, but Thich Nhat Hanh, he says, the master of mindfulness, I just tell him, he says, walk your mind back to your body,
Yes.
and I'm like, what kind of shit is that? What do you mean walk my mind back to my body? He goes, we are we are rarely present. We're always running away from our true home, and
Yes.
that is in the breath. He says,
Mm-hmm.
with your breath, you can walk your mind back to your body, so that you can sit with your body, so that you can assess, so that you can feel your body, so you
There's
can
so much
feel what's
intelligence
going
in your body.
on. There's so much here. And I can't really tell you how long I've been outside running. And
That's
I
right.
thought I was home. I thought I slid home at 50. But when he said that, maybe back in March, he walked my mind back to my body. He says, and then he begins to break it all down. He says, we are rarely present, always thinking, too much thinking.
That's right.
Too much thinking, and
Quiet
and,
that
and
shit.
it's a trap. Quiet your soul.
Yes.
Your soul needs some space. And so since hearing that, I have more space between my thoughts.
Yeah.
They don't run like a train no more. Like, we used to get up in the morning, pop up, with all that adrenaline.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
I got to do this,
Gotta
do
do.
this, got to
Gotta
do this,
do.
got to, got
Gotta.
to, got to do, got to, got to, got to,
Gotta
got to,
remember
got
who I
to.
was yesterday. Gotta keep doing
Exactly.
what I
Wait.
did
I got to
yesterday.
put, exactly. And it was like your heart is beating, your adrenaline's on. And then I was like, let's just slow this train down. Wait a minute. I'm not going to pop up out of the bed anymore. When I find myself coming to consciousness, I am just going to sit and I want to hear anything that was on the edge of the glory I just was in.
Yes.
Because rest is glorious.
That's right.
And sometimes, if you're quiet enough, you can hear what your soul has to say for that day. And it's like you don't immediately pull into traffic,
Right.
So I let the first bus go by, I let the second bus go by, then the bus just disappears because I'm here on my bed with my hand on my heart and my belly and just being present with my
Grounded.
body.
Yes.
And so, I leave room. I leave room in the cup. And I love the dial. I love this. And I love
Mm.
speaking with you about this. And man, this is a great start to a brand new day. And it's so pretty out here.
No.
So, Martin John, keep doing what you're doing. It's,
Oh, you ain't got to worry
the
about that.
dial. Look, the dial is insightful. When you become one with the dial, because the dial is you,
That's right.
just telling you about you.
That's right.
The
Only
dial is
by
you.
being lived by the Tao can you truly be yourself. So you go
Right
be
on.
lived today. Be lived. Don't let the Tao make your choices for you.
Yes. Thank
Love you, girl. So I'm gonna finish reading this 22 and going through it, just because we only got through that first section. The master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings, and so when when Felicia and Ariel and Dr. Rob and Lois and Energy Lady and Sharente can all go out and be an example for others today by living the Tao. And how do they do that? They don't go out and display themselves. They're not trying to go out there and show themselves how special they are, right? They're not trying to accomplish things because they're just being lived by the Tao. They're just being there present. Because they don't display themselves, people can see their light. They are going out there in the world and they're showing their light today, and people will be able to see it. Because they have nothing to prove, people can trust their words. They're not trying to prove nothing. Ain't nobody out there trying to be like, oh, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. Nobody that came on here today is going to get into an argument today and not, at least if they do, stop and think, that's not how I want to be. Because they have nothing to prove. They're going to realize that other people are who they are, and that is reflecting me back to myself and has absolutely nothing to do with who they are and them infringing upon my ability to be who I am. They're going to go out there and they're going to be lived by the Tao in that way because they have nothing to prove. People can trust their words because he doesn't know who he is. People can recognize themselves in him. And this is something that I live by all the time. I want to be a mirror. And I want you, I don't mind if you use me as an opportunity to jump on me. That's cool. As long as you can go back, and not even as long as you can do that anyway. But what would be great is if you can also go back and question, well, is that true that it's Martin that I'm angry at? Am I angry at Martin? Because I think the way I get to present myself is you can start there, but eventually it's going to trickle in that no, you're not angry at Martin. It's on you. Because Martin has nothing over me. I can't be angry at Martin. Just like me, I don't get angry at you guys. I don't get angry at people outside of me. I do. And then when I bring it back home, I say, oh, that's on me. That's on me. It's on me, folks. I got it. It doesn't mean I have to go apologize. It just means I have to get better. The best apology is just to grow. And it's important to not know who I am and recognize so that other people can recognize themselves in me. And when they don't know who they are, I can recognize myself in them. And then we can be awoken to the strength and depth that we are. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. Everyone that's stepping out there today, that joined me today or was even in the waiting room, is going to be stepping out just because they want to be here present. They're going to be here, and everything they're going to do is going to succeed because it's cool. Like the goal that the people that weren't able to step up today because the line was too long and they couldn't make it, their goal of coming up didn't succeed. But that doesn't mean that they had the goal. They had no goal in mind. They just stepped up. And if they did, it wouldn't have succeeded. And then maybe they're upset and stuff. Nobody's feeling that way, or I hope. And if they are, I hope they bring it back to themselves and understand that, it's not about that. It's maybe about me not giving myself enough time. Maybe me not giving myself enough space. If they are angry, in fact. When the ancient masters said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, which is the last line of the first section. They weren't using idle phrases. Only by being lived by the Tao can you truly be yourself. Giving everything up means giving up all your desires, giving up all that you think you want. And when you do that, you can live in conjunction with, and you can be being lived by the Tao. You don't have to make all the choices yourself. You're not alone. It may feel like you're alone because you are. I mean, that's the paradox. It's always living in paradox, right? You are definitely out there alone right now, no question. But you are also not alone. Not only do you have us, but we are you. And so you are surrounding yourself. And that's not you as the physical body, that's you as the spirit body, you as the Tao, you as all things. I want to thank you all for joining me. I want to remind you guys that I do have a workshop coming up it's going to be on Zoom, and it is called the Recover Yourself Workshop. And if you're interested, definitely reach out to me, DM me on Instagram or any of the links that you find. There are tickets available on Eventbrite. You can find that in my link tree. You can get my link tree. It's linktree. It's linktr.ee. Linktree.martinjohn. And yeah, I would, or backslash Martin John, I would love to have you. I love talking about this, the Recover Yourself workshop. Definitely everything we talked about today, we do cover more in depth, and really parse it out so that you can kind of grow in your own self, in recovering yourself. And this isn't about recovery. This isn't about addiction, although it is about pacifiers, right? It's about like all of those things that we use in our lives, from food to Netflix and Amazon, and even social media, even social audio apps. If you're interested in learning more about how to recover yourself, definitely reach out to me, and I'll get you into that workshop. Once again, I'm Martin John, the Recovery Mentor. I host the Recover Yourself podcast, and hope you'll join me next time on Tao of the Day. Until next time, well, look at that. I did a different thing. I always like to end, until next time, keep recovering yourself. But I was like, oh, next time on Tao of the Day. But I think that I want you to continue recovering yourself as well. So until next time, keep recovering yourself.